Good evening, or what's left of it. This is Alex Mercer, coming to you live on every available frequency we can find. I don't have good news. I won't sugarcoat it. We have confirmed the impossible. The moon. The moon is on a collision course with Earth. I repeat, astronomers from multiple observatories worldwide have confirmed that the moon is no longer following its orbit. Every calculation, every model, every simulation points to one outcome. It will impact. Officials are urging calm. They are asking for composure. They are offering explanations, reassurances, even supposed timelines. But I'm looking at the data. I'm listening to the reports. And the truth is, this is real. And the window for normalcy has already begun to close. Listeners are already reaching out. Maria from downtown Houston called in just 10 minutes ago. Alex, the sky, it's different. I don't know how to explain it. The moon it's huge. My neighbors are screaming, but I can't look away. Maria, what you're describing is exactly what's happening globally. Telescopes, binoculars, even the naked eye. This is no optical illusion. The moon's apparent size is increasing daily, visibly, unnaturally. And it's not just the scale, it's the presence. People report a tangible weight, a sense that the sky itself is pressing down. Emotional reactions are as varied as the neighborhoods they come from. Some are panicking, some are frozen in awe, and others are trying desperately to continue life as if ignoring it will prevent it. But life as we know it is already bending. Gravity is no longer consistent. There are reports, verified and coming in now, that tidal surges are acting unpredictably. Rivers are moving uphill in isolated sections. Lakes are spilling into streets without rain. Ocean tides are behaving like wild beasts. The ground is trembling under a sky that feels too heavy. Jared, from San Francisco, sent this voice memo moments ago. Alex, the street outside my apartment. There are cracks opening in the asphalt, and the water from the bay. It's rising, but it's moving like it's alive, flowing in directions it shouldn't. Folks, these aren't hallucinations. Seismographs are going haywire. Oceanographers are struggling to model the behavior of tides under this new gravitational influence. And the atmospheric anomalies, clouds twisting in ways that defy physics, sudden gusts of wind forming spirals, auroras at unexpected latitudes. This is our reality now. Let's talk survival. I know it feels hopeless, and believe me, I understand. But there are things you can do. If you are near coastal regions, evacuate immediately. If you still have access to roads that are passable. Water is rising unpredictably. Tidal surges can occur with little warning. Secure your living space if evacuation isn't possible. Move to higher ground. Reinforce entrances, and stay away from large bodies of water. Check with neighbors, yes, but carefully. Stress and panic can make people act irrationally. And listen closely to official emergency broadcasts. Though I must warn you, the scale of what's coming may render conventional emergency systems unreliable. And then there's the moon itself. I've spoken to astronomers who are doing their best to explain this to the public. Its trajectory is pulling Earth's gravity in ways that are already affecting tectonic plates. Seismic activity is rising globally. Some cities are reporting the beginnings of infrastructure failures. Bridges creaking, buildings swaying slightly, trains delayed or derailed. And as the moon looms larger each night, we're seeing a phenomenon that's as psychologically devastating as it is physically observable. Cities under the shadow. The moon fills the sky like a second sun, silver and immense, casting familiar streets in an alien glow. People are reporting long shadows, distorted perspectives, even optical illusions where buildings seem to tilt or elongate. Liam, a listener from Berlin, called in moments ago. Alex, the streets feel wrong. The streetlights don't make sense anymore. My apartment building's shadow stretches across 3 blocks. I feel vertigo just looking out the window. That is the emotional impact. Fear, awe, disbelief. They mix into a kind of cognitive haze that makes coordination difficult, makes decisions heavier, makes panic more likely. And yet, in the same reports, you see incredible resilience. Communities are forming ad hoc support networks. People are sharing supplies, helping the elderly move to safer floors, rescuing neighbors trapped in buildings affected by early tremors. Humanity hasn't disappeared. It's just stretched thin, recalibrating. I'm receiving reports now from Tokyo. Entire neighborhoods are on high alert. Residents are posting barricades against the most vulnerable streets, not just from water surges, but from structural failures. Citizens are improvising gravity measuring devices, homemade pendulums, weighted ropes, to detect sudden changes in gravitational pull. Scientists say the data is imperfect, but for civilians, any information is better than none. This is a world improvising in real time, because the moon waits for no one. And yet, amidst all this chaos, there's an almost cinematic beauty. The moon's surface, magnified, shows features invisible to the naked eye until now. Craters, ridges, strange lighting effects caused by Earth's atmosphere. The moon isn't just a threat. It's transformed into a surreal visual theater, casting entire cities in alien silver. For some, this beauty is maddening. For others, comforting, even sacred. But don't mistake beauty for safety. The moon may inspire awe, but it will not pause its trajectory. I've received a message from Elena, from Buenos Aires. Alex, my kids are staring at it, and I can't make them look away. I want them to play, to laugh, but the moon is huge now, and I can't make it smaller for them. Elena, your feeling is shared across the globe. The psychological strain of watching the moon grow larger every night is profound. People are grieving for the loss of normalcy even before the first impact. Fear is constant, like a pulse. Sleep is broken. Nightmares are collective, and waking reality mirrors them. For anyone listening right now, stockpile essentials if possible. Water, food, first aid. Prepare evacuation plans, but remain flexible. The situation is evolving by the hour. Expect earthquakes, floods, and atmospheric anomalies. Minimize time near large glass structures or tall buildings in urban areas. Gravity anomalies can destabilize them. And above all, take care of your mental state. Panic spreads faster than physical destruction. Hold on to each other. Communicate. Do not isolate if it can be avoided safely. I'll leave you with this. The moon is no longer a distant fixture in our sky. It's immediate, visible, and pressing. Its presence dominates both the physical and psychological landscape. Cities are seeing surreal visuals. Individuals are adapting, or failing to adapt, rapidly. And the rules of our world, the physics we once trusted, are bending under the weight of its approach. Every second counts. Every observation matters. And every breath is earned in a world that has just begun to feel unreal. This is Alex Mercer, reporting live as the moon looms larger each night, and every city under its shadow prepares for the impossible. Stay tuned, stay aware. stay alive. Listeners, I need to speak frankly. We've crossed a threshold tonight, one that cannot be unseen, unheard, or ignored. Infrastructure is failing worldwide. Signals fade. Power grids, which we depended on for every flicker of light, every push of a button, are collapsing under stress we never anticipated. Satellites, our eyes and ears in orbit, are faltering, their trajectories wobbling under the moon's increasing gravitational pull. Communication is breaking down. Cell towers are intermittent. Radio frequencies are fluctuating. Even emergency systems are unreliable. No one knows what is working, what is falling, and what is still tethered to Earth. I've received reports from multiple cities simultaneously. Ravi from Mumbai called in with a shaky connection. Alex, lights everywhere are flickering like they're breathing. The street lamps, they go off for seconds, then come back. My TV, my phone, nothing stays stable. I can't tell if anything is safe. Ravi, what you're describing is consistent with gravitational stresses twisting infrastructure in ways engineers can only model theoretically. Transmission lines are snapping. Transformers are overloading. Electrical currents are unpredictable because the planet itself is flexing in response to the moon's approach. Some scientists suggest that the tectonic pressure is feeding back into the grid, amplifying fluctuations. Others are warning that generators, even backup systems, may fail entirely within hours. And the consequences are cascading. Water systems are breaking down. Tsunamis are surging across coasts without warning. Rivers are rising in places they've never risen. Lakes are overflowing into cities that were built under the assumption that the natural boundaries of water were permanent. Reports are coming in from Tokyo Bay, Jakarta, New York Harbor, and countless other port cities. The oceans no longer remember their boundaries. Cities vanish beneath waves before impact. That's not a warning. That is observation from citizens who have watched streets flood in minutes, who have fled to upper floors as water consumed neighborhoods like ink spreading across a page. I just received a voice memo from Elena, calling from Lisbon. Alex, the tide is moving faster than I can track. Streets I walked today are underwater. The airport, gone. Listeners, take this seriously. Evacuation plans may already be obsolete. The ocean is no longer predictable. High ground is your ally. If you are in coastal areas, leave now if you have the means. If not, move vertically, upward. Elevators may fail, so stairwells are your lifeline. Water kills slowly and then quickly. It is both barrier and eraser. And yet, as the water rises, night becomes a warning all its own. Darkness is no longer just the absence of light. It has a shape, a pulse, a psychological presence. Shadows stretch unnaturally beneath the moon's magnified glow. Familiar streets twist in perception. Every alleyway, every doorway, every overpass is amplified in potential threat. Citizens report vertigo, dizziness, the feeling that the world itself is bending. Malik from Cairo sent this earlier. Alex, the shadows are moving. Not people, not animals, just shapes. And my mind keeps seeing threats that aren't there, then realizing they are. Malik, that is the human brain reacting to unprecedented stimuli. Perception is heightened under stress. Anxiety amplifies everything. Your own instincts will scream louder than your eyes. In the absence of normal cues, silence is a warning, and every shadow is a signal to move cautiously, or not at all. We are now seeing a pattern. The moon's approach is not only a physical threat, it is psychological warfare. Entire populations are trapped in a loop of terror and awe. Sleep is broken. Panic is contagious. People are congregating in unsafe areas, fleeing urban centers, yet unsure of where to go. And yet, there are survivors learning quickly. Individuals and families who recognize that the night is a threat, that water is a threat, that gravity itself is a threat, are adapting. They move quietly, ration their resources, and monitor the moon. They observe the ocean's unpredictable surges. They treat every shadow as a potential hazard and every sound as a signal. Adaptation is survival, and observation is paramount. I want to share a live report from Isabella, calling from Sao Paulo. Alex, our city looks like a painting. The moon fills the sky like a second sun. The streets are rivers. Streetlights flicker like fireflies trying to warn us. And everyone is whispering, looking at each other with fear. Isabella, your description captures the surreal nature of this night. Cities are transforming in ways that defy physics, memory, and expectation. The moon's immense size alters light angles, stretching shadows into impossible forms. Streets that were once familiar become alien terrain. Rivers of water carve new paths overnight. Buildings creak, sway, and collapse unpredictably. Every step must be measured. Every decision carries a weight beyond imagination. For those listening right now, practical survival advice is simple but harsh. Avoid coastal areas unless you have no other choice. Move to higher floors, preferably central areas of structurally sound buildings. Do not rely on electricity. Do not assume communication is possible. Conserve batteries, fuel, and food. Keep quiet when moving. The night is a psychological predator. Noise attracts attention. Light invites scrutiny. Movement draws potential threats. Watch the moon. Track tidal changes. Observe earthquakes and tremors. They are increasing in frequency and intensity. And remember, preparation, vigilance, and calm observation are as valuable as any physical tool you can carry. Listeners, I have live updates from multiple continents now. In New York, streets are half underwater. Bridges are unstable. Manhattan is partially evacuated. Tokyo reports rising waves flooding the subway system and destabilizing buildings near the harbor. Cape Town sees tremors and cracks appearing along the waterfront. Gravity is behaving unpredictably. Tides are surging. Cities that were once confident in their infrastructure are discovering it cannot withstand forces that dwarf anything in recorded history. And yet, human resilience is being tested, observed, and adapted. Small communities are barricading, creating improvised high grounds, monitoring water movement, rationing supplies, and keeping watch over one another. And the moon, it is everywhere. Every night, it looms larger, casting cities in alien silver. Its presence is both a threat and a guide. Lunar shadows stretch, twist, and distort our perception. Every street, every alley, every building appears unfamiliar. Every movement under that light carries risk. Night has become an active participant in survival, a landscape of fear that responds to your presence. And as the moon continues its approach, the psychological weight will increase in lockstep with physical threats. Listeners, I need to leave you with this. The world as we knew it is gone. Signals are unreliable. Power is failing. Oceans are reclaiming land. The night is alive with shadows, fear, and distortion. Yet, there is still time. There is still opportunity to survive, to observe, to move carefully, and to act decisively. If you are listening, if you are alive, hold tight to knowledge, hold tight to observation, and hold tight to one another. This is not a drill. This is the reality unfolding before our eyes. This is Alex Mercer, reporting live as the moon presses closer, as gravity twists, as water rises, and as the night becomes a warning we cannot ignore. Stay aware. Stay vigilant. Stay alive. Listeners, if you've been following, you know the world is shifting in ways we have never encountered. And now, the animals are noticing what humans cannot. There is a strange, almost preternatural awareness in the natural world, and it is impossible to ignore. Bird migrations are erratic, moving far from their usual paths, flying in formations we've never seen. Herds stampede inland, away from rising waters, yet panic overrides logic. Fish are washing ashore in numbers that defy comprehension. Predators behave strangely, hunting during daylight, avoiding nights they once dominated. Flight, panic, instinct. These are the earliest signs, the warning signals, and yet humans collectively struggle to recognize them. Clara, a listener from Vancouver, sent this just an hour ago. Alex, the crows are circling over the city like they know what we don't. Dogs howl endlessly. Even cats are leaving buildings. I can't explain it, but the world is noticing something I can't see yet. Clara, what you're describing is a phenomenon scientists are calling pre-impact behavioral disruption. Animals sense changes in gravity, magnetism, and atmospheric pressure long before humans can measure them. They respond to cues we cannot detect, and yet, in our arrogance, we continue to assume that the normal rules still apply. They are warning us, but we are listening too late. And while the animals respond instinctively, governments are dissolving around the globe. Leaders vanish. Orders are meaningless. Political institutions, those human-made structures designed to enforce order, cannot function under the pressure of the moon's approach. Emergency broadcast systems fail. Military commands falter. Border enforcement becomes irrelevant. Cities are left to themselves. Mayors, governors, even presidents are disappearing from public view, some apparently evacuating themselves, some simply unable to maintain control. Jared, calling from Berlin, said just moments ago, Alex, there's no one in the streets directing traffic, giving orders. Nothing. The mayor's office posted a message, then went silent. The police are only reacting to immediate danger. That's it. The Earth is moving toward its final rendezvous, and human governance is powerless to stop or even slow the process. Hierarchies that took centuries to build are collapsing in hours, leaving only individual action, instinct, and panic to guide survival. And with governance gone, commerce, our lifeblood of civilization, loses all meaning. Markets collapse. Stock exchanges are frozen or utterly chaotic. Currency is now paper floating in the wind, utterly useless against gravitational anomalies, floods, and earthquakes. Supply chains have fractured, leaving grocery stores empty and warehouses unreachable. Fuel is scarce, water is unevenly distributed, and every transaction, whether for food, medicine, or shelter, is fraught with tension and violence. Elena, calling from Sao Paulo, said this just minutes ago. Alex, I had cash in my pocket, And it doesn't matter. The shelves are empty. The gas station has closed. People are arguing over bottled water. Trade has become irrelevant. Paper cannot stop the sky from falling. Commodity values, stock indexes, even precious metals, worthless in the face of forces that dwarf our economy, our logic, and our planning. The psychological effect is brutal. Humans are being forced to confront an environment where their usual tools for comfort, government, money, infrastructure, no longer exist. Panic spreads like wildfire because the signals we once relied on, news, police, social order, are gone. People are improvising, barricading their homes, forming temporary alliances, rationing food, all while the moon looms larger with each hour, silver and terrifying, dominating the sky. Fear and awe collide in every city. Anxiety becomes a constant pulse. And yet, even in this chaos, we see glimpses of resilience. Families huddle together. Communities share food and water, sometimes for the first time with neighbors they never trusted. Individuals adapt to new realities of survival. Observation, patience, and caution have become as critical as food and shelter. Meanwhile, natural phenomena accelerate. The gravitational pull of the moon is causing seismic activity beyond anything recorded. Earthquakes of increasing magnitude ripple across continents. Tides are unpredictable, surging inland with little warning. Atmospheric anomalies twist clouds into unnatural formations. Winds accelerate and swirl in chaotic patterns. Rivers change direction spontaneously. Volcanoes are responding to the shifting stress in the Earth's crust. Everywhere you look, reality itself is bending in response to the moon's approach. Liam, a listener in Tokyo, reported moments ago, "Alex, I watched the Shibuya River rise over the streets in a matter of minutes. Traffic lights disappeared underwater. And the moon, it's enormous. I can't stop staring, but I'm terrified of moving." Liam, that is the lived experience millions are reporting right now. Gravity is not constant. Tides are fluid. Shadows stretch unnaturally across streets. Sleep is fractured. Perception is distorted. The world is unrecognizable. And in the midst of this, the moon's sheer presence is having an almost mythic effect. Cities under its shadow are cast in silver light so intense it feels unnatural, yet it provides no comfort. Shadows lengthen, twist, and seem to move independently. Humans report vertigo, disorientation, and fear of stepping outside even momentarily. Nighttime is no longer passive. It is active. Every alley, every corner, every flickering streetlight is interpreted as potential danger. The night has become a warning, and the moon is the herald. Every silence, every shape, every elongated shadow signals the approach of something impossible. For survival, you must adapt quickly. Observe animal behavior. They can be early indicators of danger. Avoid coastal and flood-prone areas. Move to structurally sound, high-ground locations. Stay quiet. Conserve resources. Monitor the moon and tidal patterns carefully. Watch for infrastructure failures, collapsed bridges, cracked buildings, damaged roads. And most importantly, maintain mental clarity. Panic spreads faster than any tidal wave, earthquake, or societal collapse. Calm observation and decisive action are your greatest tools. The world is changing faster than any human has ever witnessed. Animals respond instinctively. Humans stumble and falter, unable to interpret the signals in time. Governments crumble, leaving populations to fend for themselves. Economies collapse, making currency irrelevant and trade meaningless. Gravity bends, water rises, nights distort, and the moon grows ever larger, silver and oppressive in the sky. And through all of this, every individual's decisions are amplified in importance. Every movement, every choice, every survival instinct counts more than it ever has. This is Alex Mercer, reporting live. Observe the natural world. Watch the sky. Track the moon. Pay attention to your surroundings, your neighbors, and your instincts. The world notices what we refuse to see, but survival depends on seeing clearly and acting decisively. The Earth is moving toward its final rendezvous. The moon is not waiting, and neither can we. Stay alert. Stay alive. Listeners, I need you to brace yourselves. The world is no longer in preparation. It is in active collapse. The human toll is now beyond calculation. Fear and grief spread faster than earthquakes or tidal waves. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Streets are littered with those too slow, too unprepared, or simply unlucky to escape. And yet, even as chaos consumes everything, life continues in desperate, fractured fragments. Families cling to one another in stairwells and attics. Strangers hold hands through rising waters and trembling buildings. Voices call out across collapsed streets, searching for loved ones, crying for help and often finding only silence. We are not ready to die, yet death writes the schedule tonight. I've been receiving dozens of calls, texts, and voice messages. Marcel from Paris spoke to me moments ago. Alex, my neighborhood is gone. I don't know what to call it anymore. Buildings collapsed into themselves. Streets cracked. My wife is trapped under debris. I can hear people screaming, but I can't move fast enough. Every second, someone disappears. Marcel, your experience mirrors that of countless cities worldwide. Panic isn't the primary killer. It is displacement, falling structures, and a gravity that no longer obeys the rules humans built. Families are forced to make impossible choices. People are improvising stretchers from debris, digging with bare hands, carrying children through streets that heave under tidal surges. And while some survive, the mental and emotional toll is catastrophic. Each human life preserved comes at the expense of terror witnessed, trauma endured, and grief accumulating at every corner. Above us, the night sky is no longer distant and predictable. It has become a weapon. Satellites, once silent sentinels, are falling from orbit in a cascade of metal and fire. Each explosion above cuts off communication, erases GPS, destroys power grids, and showers cities with fragments capable of ripping through roofs and vehicles alike. Every light in the night sky is falling toward us. There is no place left to hide. Elena, from Buenos Aires, reported a near miss just minutes ago. Alex, a satellite struck the street 3 blocks from me. Fire everywhere, smoke and sparks. I don't know if anyone survived. Listeners, these are not isolated events. The moon's gravitational pull is destabilizing orbital paths, creating debris fields that rain destruction. Above and below, nothing remains entirely safe. The sky itself has become a battlefield. And if that weren't enough, the moon is now touching water. We're entering the first moments of what scientists have long feared, but few imagined in lived reality. Direct lunar interaction with the oceans. Tidal waves, tsunamis, and floods dominate coastlines. Hassan, calling from the Arabian Sea coast, described it earlier. Alex, the ocean. It's like it's been pulled from the earth itself. Waves taller than skyscrapers are moving inland. Ships are tossed like toys. Streets are rivers. Neighborhoods are gone in minutes. I don't know where to go. Tsunamis are no longer predictable. Currents shift in response to both gravitational stress and the moon's near proximity. The interface of sea and land is now an arena of chaos, with water erasing everything in its path before you can react. The human toll compounds with every moment. People are being swept away while trying to help others. Children are separated from parents in seconds. Elderly residents trapped in high-rise buildings face suffocation, structural collapse, or drowning. And yet, stories of heroism persist. Neighbors braving impossible conditions to save strangers. Families moving as units to higher floors. Small groups guiding each other through flooded streets and fractured cityscapes. The moon's presence is both awe-inspiring and deadly, illuminating a planet in its final throes while highlighting every human instinct. Fear, bravery, selfishness, and compassion. Even inland, where water has not yet arrived, cities tremble under increasing gravity and tectonic stress. Roads buckle, bridges fail, buildings sway violently, earthquakes ripple across multiple fault lines simultaneously. People are calling in, asking whether the shaking will ever stop. Sophia, from Istanbul, said just now, "Alex, I don't know where to stand. The ground itself feels wrong, like it's breathing. Every building, every street. I can't tell what will survive a minute from now." Sophia, what you are experiencing is the direct impact of the moon's mass on Earth's crust. Gravity is no longer uniform. Tectonic plates are shifting, collapsing, and grinding unpredictably. Our planet is literally flexing under an impossible weight, and humanity is trapped inside that flex. And yet, amidst all this, survival continues in small but significant ways. People are improvising. Families move as units, using furniture as flotation devices. Civilians carry makeshift ropes, guiding those trapped in flooding streets. Communities establish temporary signals to indicate safe zones, avoiding areas struck by debris or tidal surges. Observation has become the most vital skill. Watching the moon, tracking the ocean's unpredictable movement, listening to the trembling earth. These are no longer academic exercises. They are survival tools. The psychological strain cannot be overstated. Sleep is fragmented or impossible. The trauma of witnessing the collapse of your environment, the loss of neighbors, the death of loved ones, the unpredictability of your own survival. It is crushing. Anxiety pulses constantly, intensified by the visual dominance of the moon in the sky. Shadows are longer, more distorted than ever, exaggerating every movement. Streets that were familiar are alien. Even familiar buildings appear threatening. Nighttime is an extension of chaos. Every silence is an alarm. Every shadow a potential hazard. The moon's reflection on water is deceptive, hiding currents that can sweep you away, creating optical illusions that disorient even the most alert observer. And now, with collisions between the moon and oceans beginning to send tidal waves inland, the scale of destruction is staggering. Witnesses describe walls of water moving faster than any human reflex, swallowing streets and neighborhoods with a roar. Liam, calling from New York, reported, "Alex, I can hear the water before I can see it. It's like the city is screaming. Buildings are falling, streets are gone. And still, the moon glows, massive, terrifying, indifferent. That is the reality now. Chaos is not episodic, it is continuous. Disaster is simultaneous and layered. gravity, water, seismic activity, orbital debris, and psychological collapse all interacting in ways no simulation could ever fully predict. For anyone still listening, survival guidance remains the same but must be adapted to this new scale. Seek the highest ground immediately if water is rising. Move away from tall structures that could collapse, particularly near fault lines. Avoid open areas where debris from orbiting satellites may fall. Conserve energy and supplies. Movement is dangerous, and panic can be fatal. Observe natural indicators, animal behavior, water movement, and shadow distortion, because instinct may be a more reliable guide than any electronic instrument. And above all, remain with others if safely possible. Isolated individuals face exponentially higher risk. Listeners, the human toll will only increase in the coming hours. Families are fragmented. Communities are fragmented. Every corner of the Earth is experiencing the moon's influence differently, but everywhere, lives are being measured in seconds. We are witnessing not just a physical catastrophe, but the unraveling of every aspect of human infrastructure, psychology, and society. Death is impartial. Chaos is universal. Yet, even in the darkness, people continue to act, to adapt, to survive where possible. This is Alex Mercer, reporting live as the moon kisses the seas, as satellites fall, as Earth trembles, and as humanity struggles to endure. Listen carefully. Observe relentlessly. Move cautiously. And above all, stay alive. The world is screaming, and the moon waits for no one. Listeners, if you thought the chaos of rising tides, falling satellites, and collapsing cities was the full measure of our peril, think again. We have now entered the stage where fire and ash consume what remains of familiar landscapes. Friction from falling debris, collapsing buildings, and the sheer kinetic energy of catastrophic movement has ignited fires worldwide. Forests, urban centers, industrial complexes. Flames leap uncontrollably across landscapes already fractured by earthquakes and tidal surges. Ash falls like rain, coating streets, vehicles, and people alike. The horizon glows in unholy colors, reds, oranges, and smoky blacks painting the skyline as though the planet itself is bleeding. Marcel, calling from Paris, describes it like this. Alex, I see the Eiffel Tower's shadow in fire. Smoke rises in pillars that stretch into the clouds. Ash burns my lungs just breathing. The city looks like a nightmare someone else drew, and I'm trapped inside it. Marcel, what you're witnessing is the interplay of atmospheric instability, human structures in collapse, and the frictional energy of debris. Fires compound every other hazard. They obscure visibility, poison air, and force movement through already unsafe areas. As if that weren't enough, attempts at escape are failing. Mass evacuation has become a misnomer, a stampede toward safety with no routes remaining. Highways are torn open by earthquakes. Bridges collapse under the shifting stress of the moon's gravity, and floods sweep away cars before engines can start. Selena from Houston reports, Alex, the highway out of the city is a river. Cars float, collide, pile up. People are panicking, pushing, screaming. We're trapped, moving in circles. I don't know how anyone survives this. No route is safe. No path leads to survival. Only movement. And still it is not enough. Panic is contagious. Even the calmest individual can succumb to the chaos. And once human behavior tips toward mass hysteria, resources, already scarce, become nearly impossible to manage. Temporary shelters are destroyed by fire, flooding, or debris. The concept of a safe haven is collapsing alongside infrastructure and gravity. Meanwhile, the Earth itself is fracturing in dramatic, horrifying ways. Lunar gravity is now strong enough to trigger megaquakes, massive fissures, and widespread landslides. Mountains we once assumed were immutable are splitting. Rivers are rerouted violently, and urban centers fracture under tectonic stress. Buildings that survived the initial disasters collapse into yawning cracks in the earth. Jared, reporting from Tokyo, says, "Alex, the ground opened in front of me. Cars fell in. Streets split apart. The skyscraper I work in, it tilts at an impossible angle. People scream, some vanish instantly. There's no stopping this." The ground splits, swallowing memories, neighborhoods, everything you thought was permanent. Fissures grow at speeds faster than anyone can run, consuming roads, parks, homes, and even hillsides. Tremors echo across continents. The Earth itself seems alive, tearing itself apart under the moon's influence. These simultaneous disasters, fire, floods, earthquakes, collapsing mountains, interact in horrifying ways. Ash-filled skies reduce visibility, obscuring rising waters. Earthquakes destabilize buildings already weakened by tidal surges, triggering new fires. Landslides push rivers into towns. Every hazard multiplies the others, creating cascading failures that move faster than humans can comprehend. Elena, calling from Buenos Aires, said moments ago, "Alex, everything is moving at once. Fires are spreading while streets vanish. The ground opens beneath people. I can't tell what's safe. I don't think anything is." Elena, that is the correct assessment. Nothing is safe. We are in a multi-dimensional disaster, one that combines hydrodynamics, structural collapse, seismic instability, atmospheric contamination, and now firestorms. Survival is a constant assessment of what moves, what stays, what falls, and what threatens next. Observation is everything now. Those who survive are using eyes, ears, and instincts to detect danger seconds before it strikes. Small communities improvise signals to indicate safe areas, avoiding collapsing streets or lava-hot fires. Emergency supplies are rationed to the most critical moments. Avoid combustible zones and unstable ground. If you must move, do so horizontally when possible, not directly toward unstable mountains or water-filled valleys. And above all, remain calm enough to think clearly. Panic guarantees death faster than falling debris or rising waves. Psychologically, this stage is devastating. Survivors describe a sense of unreality, as if the planet has become an alien theater. Shadows twist with firelight. Streets tilt unnaturally. Cities burn like living organisms. The sound of fissures cracking, water surging, buildings collapsing, and fires roaring creates an overwhelming, continuous cacophony. Sleep is impossible. Cognition is strained. People are collapsing under the weight of observation, fear, and loss, even as they scramble to survive physically. Malik from Cairo reports, "Alex, I can't close my eyes. Every time I blink, I imagine the ground opening beneath me, the fire spreading faster than I can move. I hear screaming everywhere. I can't stop thinking about what's coming." Malik, your experience is shared globally. Humans are now facing sensory and emotional overload, compounded by physical danger. Survival is as much mental as it is bodily. And still, amid this chaos, The moon looms above, silver and massive, dominating every horizon. Its presence illuminates disasters, reveals the scale of destruction, and reminds us that the world's collapse is guided by forces far beyond human comprehension. Nights have become arenas of panic, firelight, shadow, and unpredictability. Daytime offers no respite. Fires, collapsing terrain, and surging water continue relentlessly. The moon is both witness and executioner, and humanity struggles to navigate its overwhelming presence. Listeners, your survival now depends on rapid observation, vertical and horizontal awareness, and extreme caution. Avoid unstable terrain, flood zones, and burning areas. Move in small, observant groups if possible. Avoid panic. Make every step deliberate. Conserve resources. Watch animal behavior. They are now often more reliable than human observation. And above all, do not trust infrastructure, roads, or bridges to remain intact. The human toll is immense, and it is growing. Families are being separated, homes destroyed, and entire communities swallowed by fire, water, or fissures. Chaos is everywhere, yet humans continue to act, to adapt, to survive where possible. Each life saved is a testament to observation, strategy, and courage. And the moon, relentless and indifferent, continues its approach, shaping every moment of this apocalyptic reality. This is Alex Mercer, reporting live as Earth burns, splits, floods, and collapses. Ash falls, fire paints horizons, streets vanish, and mountains fracture under impossible forces. Observe, move carefully, protect life, and survive as the moon comes closer with every passing second. Listeners, the world is no longer functioning in time as we once knew it. Seconds stretch like hours. The moon's approach, the gravitational tug on our planet, and the interaction of massive tidal forces, fires, and collapsing terrain have distorted perception. People report the sky itself bending, stretching, twisting into shapes that defy reason. Streets tilt, rivers curve unnaturally, and familiar landmarks appear unreal. Clara, calling from Vancouver, said just moments ago, "Alex, I swear the street is moving beneath me. I step forward and the sidewalk folds. The trees, they bend like waves. I can't tell up from down." Clara, you are describing what scientists call spatial distortion due to extreme gravitational gradients combined with tectonic stress. But in real time, for humans experiencing it firsthand, it is disorienting, terrifying, and utterly mind-bending. Gravity itself seems to dance. Objects fall slowly or unpredictably. People stumble as though invisible currents of force are shifting beneath their feet. Buildings sway not with wind, but as if the earth itself is a living organism, breathing, flexing, folding. The moon dominates the sky like a second sun, casting silver and red-tinted light that shifts continuously as it nears. Shadows lengthen, warp, and fracture across the landscape, creating optical illusions that can mask deadly hazards. Cracks in the ground, pools of sudden water, collapsing structures. Observation is no longer simple. Instinct is necessary. Survival is dictated not by knowledge of terrain, but by the ability to perceive, adapt, and act despite a world that has abandoned rules. And as time slows, the human toll becomes unbearable. People move in jerks, unsure whether their limbs obey gravity or the moon's pull. Panic ripples through crowds like waves across a stadium, but there are no rules. no infrastructure to contain it. Families cling to one another, yet often fragment under the weight of impossible circumstances. Hassan, calling from the Arabian Sea coast, described it. "Alex, my children, I can barely hold them. The ground twists, the water surges, my arms ache just holding them. Everything is slower, heavier, unreal." Hassan, that sense of physical and psychological strain, is now universal. Muscles fatigue faster. Minds are overloaded. Decision-making becomes a fight against sensory distortion, not just danger. In this surreal state, we are hearing the last messages of humanity. Citizens, unable to flee or survive the final hours, are recording themselves, sending desperate transmissions, or leaving notes for those who may never hear them. Elena, from Buenos Aires, recorded a final voice memo. "If you hear this, we were here. We tried. We ran. We held each other. We failed. Maybe. I love my children. I hope someone hears this. Thousands, perhaps millions, are doing the same, speaking into cameras, radios, or smartphones, documenting existence in the face of inevitable annihilation. These are not merely messages. They are echoes of our species' final moments, desperate attempts to assert presence, meaning, and memory against forces beyond comprehension. Observers report that landscapes are now nearly unrecognizable. Fires light entire cities in flickering orange. Waves from the moon's first ocean collisions surge inland, swallowing streets, neighborhoods, and entire coastal districts. Mountains crumble. Fissures open wide, swallowing cars, homes, and the last remnants of safe ground. The sky, lit by falling satellites and burning debris, is filled with streaks of fire and falling metal, creating a constant, deadly rain. Every sound is amplified. Collapsing structures, rushing water, roaring fire, and the endless wails of people caught in the crossfire of an apocalyptic cascade. For those still listening, survival at this stage is nearly impossible. But there are still precautions to prolong life in these final hours. Vertical spaces above water, stable rock formations, and interior spaces away from windows provide the highest chance. But the unpredictability of gravity, earthquakes, and tidal surges makes safety temporary at best. Movement should be minimal, deliberate, and carefully observed. Conserve oxygen and energy. Protect yourself from debris and fire. Hold your loved ones close. Even when survival is no longer likely, observation, patience, and caution can prolong consciousness and provide precious moments of awareness to document what is happening. And yet, amid this horror, human resilience shines. Reports describe people assisting strangers in collapsing buildings, warning neighbors of falling debris, guiding children through unstable streets, and leaving last messages for loved ones. The moon has turned the earth into an apocalyptic theater, yet human instinct persists to care, to protect, to bear witness, even when facing annihilation. Malik from Cairo recorded earlier, "Alex, I don't know how much longer. The sky is folding, the water rises, but I held my brother. That's all I can do. I hope someone remembers him." Malik, that impulse to protect, to preserve memory, is the defining human trait in these final hours. The surrealism is complete. Time dilates. Gravity shifts unpredictably. Light bends. Shadows dance. Water, fire, and earth move independently. Structures that once symbolized permanence crumble within seconds. And through it all, the moon looms, massive, silver, indifferent. Humanity's last transmissions, final observations, desperate movements, they all exist under its oppressive presence. For listeners, it is impossible not to feel that every second carries the weight of finality. Every breath is borrowed. Every heartbeat is a defiance. And now, as these transmissions continue, the radio serves as both witness and memorial. Every voice captured, every account recorded, every message sent into the void represents life, struggle, love, fear, and humanity itself. Clara from Vancouver whispered in a final message, "Alex, I'm tired, but I want someone to hear this. I want someone to know we tried, that we were here." This is the weight of the final moments, acknowledgement of existence in the face of inevitable destruction. Listeners, this is Alex Mercer. I am documenting the last stages of humanity's experience under the moon's approach. Time stretches, gravity dances, firestorms rage, oceans roar, mountains fracture, satellites fall, and humans, we continue to fight for presence, for memory, for life, even as the end approaches. Every recorded message, every observation, every desperate attempt to survive is a testament to existence itself. If you are hearing this, bear witness. Hold on to each other. Hold on to awareness. And know that the final moments are as human as they are terrifying. The moon approaches. Seconds stretch into eternity. The sky warps, and the last voices, the last breaths, echo across a world that has never been more alive, and yet closer to its final silence. This is Alex Mercer, broadcasting live as reality bends, time distorts, and humanity waits. Stay aware, listen, remember, and survive as long as you can. Listeners, I speak now into a world that is no longer recognizable. Cities have dissolved into silence. What once bustled with life, the constant hum of traffic, the chatter of streets, the pulse of human endeavor, has vanished in moments, erased by forces beyond comprehension. Skylines vanish. Streets breathe empty air. Highways twist into rubble. Bridges are shredded into fragments. The echoes of our civilization are muffled under dust, fire, and water. Silence dominates the world that once roared. Marcel, calling from Paris earlier, whispered over a trembling line, "Alex, it's quiet now. Too quiet. I hear nothing. Nothing. No cars, no voices. Even the wind seems afraid." Marcel, that quiet is not merely absence. It is the weight of the planet itself reasserting dominion over a species that until now believed it could control its surroundings. Every street, every building, every space that bore memory is now unrecognizable, a testament to fragility in the face of cosmic inevitability. And yet, amidst the destruction, humanity still observes. People gather wherever possible, on hilltops, debris-strewn plains, or makeshift structures, staring at the moon as it finally collides with the planet. Awe, terror, and disbelief mix in every gaze. For countless hours, we have been witnesses to forces beyond comprehension, but now the final act is before our eyes. Elena from Buenos Aires described it. "Alex, we can't look away. The moon, it's falling, and I feel it in my chest. We stare at it, and it stares back. Every instinct screams to run, but we watch. That is precisely the paradox of this moment. Instinct tells us to flee, yet gravity, fire, water, and awe hold our eyes to the impossible. Humanity watches the impossible, and the impossible watches back, indifferent and colossal. When the impact occurs, the force is incomprehensible. Oceans rise instantly, driven by the moon's final embrace. Tsunamis collide with land masses already weakened by prior surges. Firestorms ignite from kinetic friction and ignited structures, spreading across continents. Earthquakes ripple through every remaining tectonic boundary, swallowing what few urban centers survived, tearing apart mountains, reshaping valleys. Jared, reporting from Tokyo, captured this chilling observation. Alex, the sky itself cracks. The ground folds. I see the moon collide, and it's like the planet is exhaling one final time before sleep. Everything shakes. Everything screams. The human eye cannot truly comprehend the scale of the event. For a brief, timeless moment, the planet itself seems alive, responding to the moon's return in fury, terror, and reshaping every horizon. And then, silence returns, but not as before. This is a different silence. Ash floats through skies thickened by debris. Fires smolder across flattened forests and cities. Water, displaced from coasts and rivers, settles into new paths. The smell of smoke, salt, and dust permeates every breath. Survivors, if any remain, emerge from the rubble and water, blinking in disbelief. Clara, from Vancouver, said this as the dust settled. Alex, I can't recognize anything. Trees are gone. Streets are gone. The river is new, like the world has been rewritten. And I am still alive. Clara, you are describing the first moments of a new Earth, where memory of what was is overwritten by the raw landscape of what now exists. Humanity is reduced to its essentials: survival, observation, and reconstruction in a world without precedent. In this aftermath, every previous measure of civilization, government, infrastructure, economy, culture, has been swept away. Money has no meaning. Cities are gone. Roads are impassable. Communications are shattered. And yet, human instinct persists. Survivors must relearn how to live on a world reshaped overnight. Food, water, shelter, and community are no longer abstract. They are immediate, urgent, and essential. Hassan, from the Arabian Sea coast, describes his first steps post-impact. Alex, I waded through water that used to be my street. I see neighbors for the first time in hours. We don't speak much. We just look around, trying to see what's left, what we can use, where we can go. That is the essence of survival: observation, adaptation, and careful, deliberate action. The moon's collision has rewritten the planet's geography. Coastlines are unrecognizable. Mountains have shifted. Rivers follow new paths. Valleys are flooded. Cities, centuries in the making, are reduced to fragments, uninhabitable rubble. Fires continue to burn in patches. Ash drifts over landscapes, coating everything in a silver-gray mantle, a reminder of the final cataclysmic events. Even for those who survived physically, the psychological scars are incalculable. Malik, from Cairo, recorded a final observation. Alex, I feel the world is empty, Yet I am not alone. The moon, it's gone. The earth, it doesn't remember what we had. And I must learn to remember, to exist again. Malik, that is the beginning of what comes next. Humanity must reforge connection, rebuild shelter, and rediscover meaning in a planet that remembers nothing of what came before. And there is hope, faint but undeniable. In scattered pockets, survivors gather. Children emerge, confused but resilient. Communities form around access to water, elevated ground, and remnants of supplies. Observation and memory of terrain, hazards, and human cooperation become the foundation of a new civilization. Fires are extinguished, water rerouted, debris cleared, and slowly, painfully, humanity begins the long process of learning again what it means to live. Elena, speaking through tears, whispered, "Alex, we are here. We breathe. We exist. That is enough. For now." And it is. For now, survival itself is the beginning of everything else. Listeners, the moon has returned home. Earth remembers nothing of its past civilization. The air is thick with ash and silence. Water flows along new courses. Fires burn intermittently, marking the remnants of what once was. Humanity, if any remain, faces the unimaginable task of rebuilding from scratch. But even in devastation, life persists. Every breath, every heartbeat, every cautious step forward is a testament to endurance. Civilization, memory, and identity must be reconstructed from the ruins. The moon is gone from the sky. Its influence, violent and final, has reshaped all life. And yet, humans endure. Observation, adaptation, courage, and connection will define the next chapter of life on this new Earth. This is Alex Mercer, reporting the final moments of the moon's collision and its aftermath. The world is silent, scarred, reshaped. Fires, floods, and fissures remain, but survivors, if any, begin the slow process of remembering, observing, and living again. The moon has returned home. Earth remembers nothing. And we are left to learn again what it means to live. And so, listeners, the Earth is quiet now. The moon has returned to the void from which it came. Fires smolder, waters settle. Ash drifts across horizons once bustling with life. We have witnessed the impossible, endured the unthinkable, and survived, if only just enough to tell the story. What remains is not the world we knew. Every street, every skyline, every memory of civilization has been rewritten. And yet, in the silence, in the stillness, there is a pulse, the heartbeat of life stubbornly refusing to yield. Humanity, fractured but unbroken, begins again. Observation, courage, memory, these will be our guides. Remember this, listeners. The moon may have fallen, but it cannot erase what we carry within. Compassion, resilience, and the will to survive. These are eternal. Learn from the world that has ended. Guard each other in the world that begins. From the edge of annihilation, this is Alex Mercer, signing off. Watch the skies, protect one another, and above all, keep living.